Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon here in South Africa. This is the second reading I'm doing today and it is about Meghan Markle's mental health. And I have to remind you, this is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes. It is all just my opinion and there is a disclaimer in the box below. Please read it and please form your own opinions about Meghan Markle mental health. I am not a mental health expert or professional. I am not claiming to be. This is all speculation just for entertainment. And I am using for this reading the Tarot of the Abyss, Going to Dark Places. It's a dark tarot deck and allegedly she is in maximum turmoil and pain. And while I carry on shuffling, I will have a little chat about what has been rumoured, and it has just been rumoured from quite a dubious source on Twitter, that allegedly she went home from the funeral quite devastated. She's barely surviving, the term used, barely surviving the funeral and Charles's snub. The snub being Meghan and Harry being disinvited from that state reception. The theory goes they were never invited, but played a game, tried their best to swing an invite and they didn't succeed. But all terribly traumatic for her. And maximum turmoil and pain, been looking around for a therapist since she got back to Montecito. Oprah just happened to have one lined up, conveniently, the right person. So she suggested the name, and now, according to this rumour, Meghan is getting the proper care. So I'm going to use the Tarot of the Abyss to see what is the state of Meghan's mental health. Is she in therapy? Is this all a ruse? Is this so that we're going to get another interview? We're going to get another Oprah interview or a mental health documentary? Is this where we're heading? Is this a setup for that kind of story, narrative, content to come out? Harry's already had the mental health documentary with Oprah. Is this Meghan's turn? We do know that she tends to over-dramatize situations. She had that miscarriage during the middle of the court case. She does like to play the pity card. Nobody asked if I was okay. All of that stuff when she was in South Africa. So she, baby Archie nearly burned in a fire. So she's not one who is going to do the stiff upper lip thing. If she's got a tale of woe to tell, she is very inclined to tell it or embellish it. I don't think I need to say allegedly because I think we've all seen proof of that. And so, yeah, underlying energy. Three of Swords. Three of Swords. This is heartache and betrayal. Her perspective, of course, it's very difficult to understand a person like this's psyche because it seems so disconnected from reality, from feedback that she's getting from other people, from royal authors, from the press, from the public, from comments, from the rest of the royal family, their behavior, their attitude. She just does not seem to get it. She is very seriously, this is the underlying energy. This is a very stark and explicit card, the Three of Swords. She is suffering a tremendous heartache. She feels betrayed. She feels brokenhearted. She thought she was going back on this triumphal tour to Europe, and instead it turned into humiliation, and she was iced out by the royals very, very publicly. And she can't understand it. People, of course, in the crowd outside Windsor Castle also refusing to shake hands with her, turning away from her. She must have noticed. She went back and slapped one of them or tapped them on the arm in a sort of cheeky, bit of a bullying way, in my opinion. It was a very nasty thing to do. The woman had made it very clear she did not want to shake hands with Meghan Markle, and Meghan went back and gave... It's assault. To touch someone without their consent is a form of assault. Just saying. So, there's the Three of Swords. The heart of this reading, Four of Pentacles in reverse, is a loss of control. Four of Pentacles upright, you are in control. It's the miser card. You're mean. You're very focused on your financial stability. And to hell with everyone and everything else. Your blocked heart chakra. We've got the heart chakra being cut open there with that knife. If only it would allow some light in. I doubt it myself. But normally when these moments of these Three of Swords moment happen, it's universe opening the heart to some form of healing and realization. We've got a loss of control here. It's possible. It's possible. It really is. I went into this reading with a lot of cynicism and doubt. But the cards that have come up so far are telling me that there is actually some truth to the story, despite the source being very flaky. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Literally letting go, letting it all hang out. Losing control. Losing control. She may well have lost control. She may well have had some kind of episode when she got back to Montecito that was a little bit scary. How is her mental health now? 10 of Wands, it's the same card. This is quite uncanny. This is the same card that has just come up in the previous reading I did. The Cha-Cha Changes reading on Netflix and Spotify. This was her card that came up for Spotify. The 10 of Wands, exactly the same card, different deck. I was using the After Tarot in that reading. I said in that reading, when I saw this card, that my next reading was actually on Meghan's mental health. I plan the readings in advance, so I don't do one reading and then think from that reading what I'm going to read on next. I plan them both in advance, and this is the card that came up. It's the card of being terribly burdened almost beyond being able to deal with it, the 10 of Wands. It's a very lonely card. You can see this person is struggling there on their own in the dark, no one to help, this long and lonely road, long and winding road, and those burdens are ready to drop, and she's in trouble. She is in trouble. Is she in therapy with Oprah's therapist? Is she seeking help? Is she working with someone? And I would be inclined to say no with the Three of Pentacles, because the Three of Pentacles upright is working with a team, engaging with them. You can see all their hands are pulling on that rope together. It's teamwork, it's collaboration, cooperation. It's in the reverse. And honestly, I'm quite disappointed to see that. If the card was upright, I would be delighted. I would say, well, she's actually working on this with someone. But I think we've been told a story. We've been told a story. We'll check it out in the next card. She is in trouble. Three of Swords, 10 of Wands, the Four of Pentacles in reverse. She is in trouble, but I don't think that she's doing the right thing to fix it. This is my personal opinion. This is not a professional opinion that I am expressing. I need to emphasize that in this reading over and over again. Three of Pentacles in reverse. Not maybe started but didn't see it through. And I've always thought with her, she's very keen to send Harry off to therapy. Harry seems to be in permanent therapy. She seems to use techniques on him that have come from various modalities, therapeutic modalities. Bookworm 2 has got an interesting video on that if you want to go and look at it, on precisely a handshake technique that Meghan uses. But when it comes to her own self, we never hear about her being in therapy or actually seeking help or actually doing the work. She writes in her journals so that she can publish them later, allegedly. But that's a very interesting card. And while we're on the subject of Bookworm 2, I think that I didn't credit her with certain information in a reading I did yesterday. I credited Lady C with the information. It was Bookworm 2's information. Apologies to Bookworm 2. I realized straight after I did the reading, after I'd uploaded it, well, I think that that is the case. The information may have come from various sources, but Bookworm 2 was in on it too. So just putting that out there. What's going on behind the scenes? Is this some sort of ruse to get to the next Oprah interview? Oprah apparently on the outs with Apple, maybe needing better content. Who better than Meghan Markle to bring on board and say, yes, well, I'm suicidal, I'm having a nervous breakdown, This has all been so hard for me. The royals were so mean to me. They were so cruel to me and so cold to me. And I tried my best, and I wore my best hat, and I even wore tights, and still that wrong bra, but I tried my best, and they were so mean to me. Are we heading in that territory? What is going on with that? We got the King of Pentacles in reverse. The King of Pentacles is Harry. A Harry card, really. The Earth sign Prince, who more and more is coming up as King energy as he gets more and more sort of egotistical. So he showed up in here. He was, of course, the one that did all the mental health stuff with Oprah. So she could be following in the path of this King of Pentacles in reverse and going down that road with Oprah. It's possible to read this card that way. I can't think of any other male energy in here. We've got Oprah and Meghan Markle, and Harry has now shown up. Unless the therapist happens to be a man. Could be. It could be that this is the guy, this is the man that she's in therapy with. It'd be funny if it was someone like Dr. Phil or one of those Oprah people. That would be very funny. And so it's a bit of a mystery card for me, the King of Pentacles in reverse, because I think it's pointing to a person. And as I say, Harry is the only one that I can identify clearly as a reader. But there is another male energy here in this reading. Could well be the therapist. And it could well be that it's going to be therapist Oprah and Meghan. And what happened to doctor-patient confidentiality, Mercury retrograde. But it's quite an interesting card because the King of Pentacles in reverse is in his shadow energy. He is unstable, unreliable, just traditionally bad-tempered, quite a beast to work with. It could be that she says that Harry wasn't sufficiently supportive, because the King of Pentacles also is husband, archetypal husband energy. And it's supposed to be supportive and bring home the bacon and be loyal and devoted and solid and all the rest of it. And saying, well, I didn't get that kind of support from the males in my world, whether in the royal family or my husband or my own family. And I was left all helpless and defenseless, poor woman, and so wounded by all these hurts that I have suffered. There's a lot going on with that card. A lot going on with it. Outcome. What is going to happen with all of this? Wow. And we get the Strength card in reverse. That's bad. That's bad, and it's actually quite disturbing for me as a reader. And I'm not a fan of Meghan Markle, obviously. But there she is. That's her card, the Leo card. And it's in reverse. And the opposite of strength is weakness, of course. A collapse of some sort. It does look as if she could be heading for some kind of serious break. I'm trying to tread carefully. Again, I'm not a mental health professional, and I really don't dabble in this area, so I'm not even an amateur authority on these things. It's not something that I read up on, that I have any particular interest in. Dark Night of the Soul, yes, I'm there. Archetypal journeys, yes, absolutely. But the Strength card in reverse tells me that she's in trouble. She's going to be in trouble. She's going to be weakened by this. She's going to be harmed by this, damaged by this. And it's an ego injury. And of course, there is a lot of speculation that she is a narcissist. Even the royal staff, according to Valentine Lowe in his book Courtiers, described her as a narcissist. And this is a narcissistic injury that's showing up here with the Strength card in reverse. Leo is all about ego. The ego has been damaged. It was the being snubbed by Charles. It wasn't the grief over the Queen, the regret over not seeing her in her final weeks and months. None of that. This is about her being snubbed, and that she couldn't cope with it, the candle in the way, all of that stuff. she was edited out. Well, she wasn't edited out, but strategic camera placing and moves, live editing. Camera angles, choices, cutting away to somewhere else when she stepped into view. It was pretty obvious that she was not welcome there, and the royals were doing their best, and the whoever was filming the events were doing their best also to eliminate her as much as possible. Everyone turned a cold shoulder. She suffered a lot of ego wounds on that day and in the build up to that day as well. Very insecure moment with William and Catherine and that little walkabout they did. She looked like a child who'd been told off, you behave or else. Really very different energy from her than we've seen her in recently. From that swagger that she has displayed to that very chastened look, almost terrified look. I did a reading on that. She's in trouble. She's in trouble. The ego is in trouble, definitely. The relationship too could be in trouble, just by the way, because strength is Harry and Meghan traditionally in these readings, the Leo and the Virgo, and the relationship could be in trouble. I don't think it's going to break just yet. There's too much at stake for them. Get them to the coronation and then we might talk again. But so timelines have changed. Timelines do change. We always say that. I always say that in tarot readings. This is subject to changes in the timeline. And of course, a death like the death that has just happened is a massive change in the timeline. So all kinds of things have knock-on effects, basically. But this is a troubling reading. It's troubling for me. As I say, I'm not a fan of hers at all. I'm sorry that she's not really cooperating with this person, if this is the person. She's in trouble. She really, for her, she is actually now in trouble. And so, on that rather somber note, I'm going to close this reading. And thank you as ever for watching. And I will see you again tomorrow.